Hey guys, so I have a late night visitor and I wanted to show you guys who it is. So this is Remy. He is a livestock guardian dog that lives about 5 miles that way. He has a farm that has a bunch of cattle. He lives there with several other dogs, and their job is to live with the cows, and I guess guard the cows. But his name is Remy. When I first bought this house, I think it was about a month in, he showed up at my house covered in fleas, covered in ticks, coat completely matted, and he was just an all-around mess. So I brushed him, gave him a bath, gave him a flea bath, and then helped him with a lot of the ticks that he had. But I'd brush him, and he left, and then he would come back the next day. I would leave out a bowl of water, and again, work on brushing him to get rid of all his mats. And I ended up buying like a 50-pound bag of dog food. And whenever he came around, I would give him some food, give him some water, and he would just come and go. So it looks like he's back. There was about 2 weeks that there were 2 weeks that he would come every single day and hang out every single day, and he'd be here for hours, and I'd spend time with him, do work around the house outside, and he would be there. And there was a day where I got in the car, I went out and got food, came back, he was still here. Went out to the grocery store, came back, he was still here. And he would just show up randomly. But I think it's been about a month, maybe longer, maybe 2 months, since he's been here. And the last time he was here, he had an e-collar on. So I'm guessing the owners try to keep him in his area where he's supposed to be doing his job and not roaming. But he's not neutered, and he roams. So the first time I ever saw him, he showed up with a hound. It was a hound-looking dog. It had long ears. It was definitely a mix. Mix of something, but it was a hound. He showed up with a hound. They came out of the woods over here, and I called them over. I had them leashed up, and I started walking them down the street, and their owner showed up in a truck, took both the dogs, and then they left. He's eating some of the food I gave him. And then it was about a week later, he showed up by himself without the hound. So I leashed him up and started walking him this way down the street because that's the way the truck showed up. And the owner, when they got out the truck, was wearing a bikini. So I assumed the house in which he lived at, which is a couple miles down the road, has a pool. So I made the logical decision. He must live at the house that has the pool because the chick was wearing a bikini. So I knocked on the door. A guy answered, and he was like, "Oh, that's not my dog, but I know whose dog it is." Because apparently he comes out all the time and plays with his boxers. So he told me what his name was, because I didn't know his name at this point. Told me that his name was Remy and that he lives at the cow farm that's up the road. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've driven past that cow farm. I know that cow farm. So I put him in the car, drove him out there. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Out here in the country. I'm thinking I'm going to get shot. So ended up putting him in the car, taking him out to the cow farm, and leaving him there because nobody was answering the door. So I just left him there, and he laid in the yard and stayed as I drove away. And then he would show back up again and spend some time here. I would say hi, and then he'd wander off into the woods and go do his own thing. Well, it has been a while since he's been here, and all this is new since he's been here. So I'm out here because I'm curious to see how he feels about the chickens in the chicken barn, because eventually I would like to get chickens that can free range. But I am worried about the fact that Remy dog likes to roam. So it looks like he doesn't even seem to care. He went over there, checked out the door. You could smell the chickens. The chickens are inside there. But he didn't react at all. So he, other than predators, I knew he was going to be one of my biggest problems with free ranging if I'm not present. But yeah, just thought I'd do a video, show you guys Remy. But since I'm out here, I will show you guys the chicken coop, the pallet chicken coop that I've been building. It's basically almost done. I'm gonna turn flash on. All right, there we go. It's basically almost done. The roof is now on. It is stable. There's a couple nails in here that wouldn't come out. I finished boarding up this side. It looks a little rough with the nails coming through, but I'm going to put plywood on this side. I'm going to end up plywooding the front of this coop. I am going to take off this this bar across here that stabilizes the door so it doesn't lean. When you open it, it will lean, but that keeps it straight. I forget the technical terms right now. So I gotta take that off, put the plywood on, then put that back on. And then over here, I'm going to plywood this side as well, but obviously leave the window open, because then I can take these boards off and actually use them for something. Because they're nice pieces of wood. And then I also have this piece here, which I don't care that it's split. It's only made to catch the door. So when the door opens, it catches the door so the door doesn't swing completely over and rip my hinges off. My hinges took a beating from the door constantly swinging open really roughly. And so in here I still need to do the flooring, but this side is all boarded up and the screws will be hidden by plywood. I have this board here so that I can put locks on it for my door. This is here so that I can build up the bedding and then be able to remove this piece so that I can scrape everything out. But I still have to put some flooring in here. I'm thinking I'm just going to do plywood instead of the linoleum that I wanted to do. I think I'll just do plywood instead. But yeah, and got the roof on, and eventually I'm going to shingle the roof, or what I think I'm actually going to do is take the plastic sheeting that I have and tack it onto the roof And then I can just shingle over top of the plastic. So, there we go. So the door goes flush with this board, so I can put a lock at the bottom and I can put a lock at the top. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys an update on that. I still have to do the ladder, the opening, and do chicken wire on the bottom. And then there's Remy coming back. So I still got that to do, but there's an update. Hey Remy. Hey Remy. Who's a good boy? Yeah. That's a good dog. He's a pretty dog. I like his face. He's a pretty dog. And he's nice. So just wanted to give an update on the Pallet chicken coop, and I saw Remy out here, so I thought I'd get a video of him. I'm sure there's going to be plenty videos of Remy because he roams, and he's not a very good livestock guardian dog because he leaves his herd quite often. So yeah, he'll hang out for a bit. Eventually he'll leave. He'll go into the woods and return later on. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this coop is turning out. It's looking really good. So that's my update for tonight. So I'm making chicken tenders right now. So I'm going to go inside and get those out the oven. Y'all have a good night.